All right, welcome everybody. I'm Peggy, I'm part of the Pine Hill Partnership Board. Thank you everybody for coming. So we thought we'd just start with our slideshow, show you what we did this year, show you what we're planning on doing this coming year, and then we have a couple other trail networks, so we're going to talk about their plans. So next slide. So what is Pine Hill Partnership? We're nonprofit. We do not own Pine Hill Park. It's owned by Rutland. The land is owned by Rutland City, and it's the Recreation Department manages it. And the Carriage Trail and the Redfield Trails also have other landowners. We'll talk more about that. These are our current board members. I thought I'd just go around. Klaus Bartenstein, Joel Blumenthal in the back. Josh Harris could not be here. He thought the thing was yesterday. Sarah Graham, Dave Jenny. Dave did the slideshow. Lindsay Johnston was sitting, she's back there with her son who's very cute. Shelley Lutz, back there. Nate Netch. I'm Peggy, and that's my husband, Andy. All right, next slide. So this is just a cool graphic. And then I get dizzy, so. Don't take me on a roller coaster. Uh-oh, where's the next slide? Is that supposed to do anything, Dave? Okay.
There we go. Whoop, back up one.
Back up one. Whoops.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, right. Anyway, Pine Hill Park is about 300 and some odd acres. I forget, the number seems to change. So Pine Hill Partnership by the, whoa.
That's okay.
We are a bunch of volunteers. I just want to put that out there. Okay. I'm not going to read through this, but some pretty impressive numbers. I'll give you all a few minutes to read. And a lot of the trails have been built by hand, so that is the bucketfuls. We're seeing a lot of trail networks now being built by professional trail builders, and we actually now rely on a lot of professional trail builders to build and help in the park. But in the beginning, they were all hand-built, which makes them a pretty unique trail system within the central Vermont or all of Vermont corridor. Next slide. Trail use this year, we had a trail counter. A lot of pedestrian use, that's the orange line. The trail counter was not working very well for mountain biking, so that's why it's pretty minimal over there, that green line over there in the corner. But as you can see, it's, a lot of us are mountain bikers, but it is a the park is used heavily by pedestrians, dog walkers. I see a lot of families in there, so it's great. Next one. Giving some thanks. Next, landowners, Rutland City. Rutland City owns Pine Hill Park. And again, it's administered by the Rec Department. I'd like to thank April Chiaffi, who's here somewhere, and Tyler Dolan. Where's Tyler? They are instrumental in really helping us with the park, helping with grants, helping with maintenance, things like that. So you can read through all the landowners here that own the different landowners for the different trail systems. And if you're out there walking or riding in the park, please be kind and thankful, because it might be Mr. and Mrs. Foley out there riding or walking along. We want to say hi. We don't want to say, get off the trail. Want to ride with gratitude. Okay, next slide. Volunteers. So Pine Hill Park also kind of is there's a lot of maintenance is done by Shelley, Nate, Leonard, Bartenstein, and a lot of these volunteer groups that came in. They come in pretty much every year. We have a lot of people who just have chainsaws who go in and volunteer to take, when trees fall in the park, there's one I was riding today on one of the trails. They'll go in and get those out. So a lot of volunteers. Next one. You can see volunteer days and hours. We had a lot more days last year in 2025, almost 150. And the number of hours is is unbelievable, like almost 2,100 volunteer hours every year. So that's what keeps the park in pretty good condition. Next, volunteer projects. This is what they worked on last year. I don't know if anybody saw the Hermes skill zone, new little trail off of Birches. The new natural fence was replaced. I'm not going to read it all, but a lot of work was done last year, as has been done every year. Next. And map sponsors. We started creating a map, 10 years ago, I think? And all of these people sponsored the map last year. They pretty much stay the same. We get some new ones. Some people drop off. We get some new ones. So the maps are pretty popular. Shelley's always stuffing more maps into the kiosk. Next. We've distributed almost 100,000 maps in 10 years and gotten some money for it, which is helpful in maintaining the trails. Next. And memberships, 138 members, a number of members, because some people join as a family, and those are the different levels you can join at. Membership has declined, and that's something we've been a little puzzled about. We know it spiked, during COVID when everybody suddenly discovered the great outdoors. And we don't know why it's been going down since then. Are people joining other trail networks? Are they just cutting back on finances and hoping they can just ride at the back of others? We're not sure. But if anybody has any ideas, we'd love to hear them. And membership levels, how much you can pay. Whatever money you contribute, and people often add a little extra, really helps us maintain the trails. Cold rolled, unfortunately, we do a lot of events at the park, and unfortunately we had a great Vermont winter for once, for first time in a long time, and it got snowed out, which was a big disappointment. Down Valley had put a lot of effort into organizing it this year, and we were all disappointed we had to cancel it. But I think it snowed, I think a foot or 9 inches that day. It would have been.
10 inches.
Yeah.
The night before, and we're just so ready for next year now.
Yeah.
So prepared.
Next one. Thank you. So thank you to everybody who helped, all the work that goes into the park. Vermont is #1 in the nation for non-secular volunteerism, and I think Pine Hill Park is an example of that. Let's talk trails. 2025 work completed. Oh, we have music? Oh, is that someone's phone? Sorry. I'm not going to read everything. All right, next. Yeah.
Wow, that's so much stuff.
Yeah. And does anybody remember all the rain we got in May, and some of the trails were flooded out? We had to do a lot of culverts. Rosie had to put in a lot of culverts to divert a lot of that water, or Svelte Tiger was just going to get washed away. So next one. So we've been as a board, we decided 2 years ago that we were going to spend 3 years putting a lot of our money toward trail maintenance, because as we saw during COVID, the trails started getting a ton of use and the erosion was really apparent. So last year was year 2 of this maintenance plan, and we were planning to spend $45,000, but because of the wet May that I just referred to, we ended up spending more, which is why donations and membership dollars are even more important. So next one. And over total invested trails in 3 years, it's a pretty big number. And part of it, we've gotten some grants that Shelley and April have really worked hard on to get to help with the trail maintenance. So next one.
There's no taxpayer dollars in that.
Yeah, this is no taxpayer dollars go into Pine Hill Park. Other than with the rec department, they're getting paid for their salary. No, okay. Anyway, no taxpayer dollars go into maintaining Pine Hill Park, which I think is big, because tax dollars are at a premium right now. Okay. So we'll just show you some pictures of the trail erosion. And I don't think, it's sort of like the frog in the pot. You don't really realize how much the trails are eroding if you're in there a lot because you don't see it. But this log here shows when this trail was originally built, that's the level that the soil was at. And that's how much soil has been eroded and compacted. So this is just an example of restoring that trail, the work that went into getting that trail tread restored. And yeah. Youth Works, they used to do a lot of work in the park and then they were gone for a few years, I think with COVID, and they came back last year. And on one of the hottest days of the summer last year, these kids were in there and they were workhorses. They really worked hard. So we're very happy to have them back. There's Nate. The Hermes, so trying to get some fun features so kids and riders can start working on some freestyle mountain bike skills. And Nate and Shelly work hard at the Mint to work on trail signs. The trail signs are wood and have to be replaced. I mean, some of them are over 20 years old. And they created a whole new, the entrance sign, I guess, fell off the stanchion this year. So Shelly and Nate have made a big new sign for the front that'll go in soon. Again, volunteer hours, Shelly and Nate are working hard. Next, yep. And then, hope people noticed the penny farthing that went in last summer. It was made by Tyler Reinhardt at Max Steel, the artist in residence. So thank you to him and to Max Steel. And we were talking about events. The Cold Roll was a winter event. We've got other events that are pretty annual events. Gritty Girls, will start that on May 3rd. Women's mountain bike clinic, a youth mountain bike clinic, and a wellness clinic for women. So trying to get people on bikes who want to learn. And Community Work Day, we have one every year. And please join us, show up. We help spruce up the front. Master gardeners are often there. Will they be there this year? Yeah. And we're going to work on more saplings in the natural fence. So please come. We got to clean those drainages too, because water and trails don't mix. And leaves and debris fill up the drainages that the trail crew make. And they're pretty easy to clean out. It just takes, going through with the right equipment. And we cleaned out quite a few trails last year. It just helps keep the trails maintained. Looking ahead for 2026. So we're still in maintenance mode. So from the 1,000-foot level, if we're a bird looking down. So we'll continue with trail restoration. And bridges are wood, so they need to be inspected. We've been replacing boards in them and supports throughout the years. And again, trying to get water off the trail. And one thing Shelly and I noticed, I don't know, one day I sat down and I was like, there's a lot of riding around Rutland City. Like if you live in Rutland City, you can drive 30 miles or 30 minutes in 4 different directions. And when I added it up, it's over 300 miles of mountain bike specific trails. And I don't know, you won't find that in the Kingdom Trails. I don't know where, you can't find that anywhere, I think, in the US unless you get out to Colorado and Utah. But I think we live in a pretty special place and it's kind of a secret. And all the trail networks are a little bit different. You've got some of the old school trails at Pine Hill Park. You can go to Killington and do downhill. There's great riding at Slate Valley, Woodstock, Rochester. So I think we're in a real mecca. We've got some grants again, luckily, and donations. We've had a capital campaign the past 2 years, and we've raised at the end of the year over $20,000, which has been very helpful. So thank you to everybody who's contributed. So this is what we plan to do for 2026. And again, we're going to spend $40,000, and we hope we don't have crazy storms that make that number go up. And 5-year plan, Shelley and the rec department have been working on a universal trail, which would be down by the pedestrian trails. You can see where the baseball diamond is there. And that'll be a wide trail, adaptive riders and walkers can use that trail. So now we have a business meeting as part of our bylaws. So we used to be in a fiscal year from July that started in July. We've moved now to the calendar year. So you can look at our total income, total expenses, net income. So we're going to be shy this year about $12,000. We're hoping to make that up with, again, donations. So I'm not going to read through the balance sheet because I don't think I can. So this is our proposed budget.
So the grant line, which is the second line down, we actually received that grant last week. That's for $50,000. It's a reimbursement grant. So we have to have at least $50,000 in our checking account because we have to pay for it up front before we get reimbursed.
Right. So that's another reason the donations are important when we get these reimbursement grants. We can only get them, if we're going to get a $50,000 grant, we have to have $50,000 in the bank that we can spend, and then we get that money reimbursed. So very important. So we appreciate all the donations. So budget vote. Members, Pine Hill Partnership members only.
We need a motion.
Somebody want to?
Pass budget.
Okay. Does anybody second that motion? Okay. So all in favor of the 2026 budget as proposed, say aye, or raise hands.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Yay. Party time. Slate candidates of board of directors. The people I mentioned earlier, except Paige Prouty, would like to join the board. So we need to vote on this slate of board of directors. If there's anybody who'd like to vote off the island, please speak up now. Anybody move to approve this slate of directors?
Make a motion to approve the slate of directors.
Anybody second?
Second.
All in favor of these board of directors? Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you. Okay. Very exciting business meeting. So Pine Hill Park and beyond. As I said, we've got all these trail networks within 30 minutes of Rutland. So we've got who's first? Vellamont update. So Shelley's going to talk about the Vellamont update. The Vellamont Trail is a trail that's going to extend like the Catamount Trail or the Long Trail from the Canadian border to the Massachusetts border.
So Peg TV is here, so we actually have them, they're recording us. So we have to trade the microphone over. Maybe. No, I'll just hang on to it. So how many people are familiar with the Vellamont Trail? We've been talking about it for quite a few years now. So it's pretty exciting. Stuff is definitely moving forward. Are you hitting the slides? So this is going to be happening in our backyard this year. So this is Chittenden Reservoir. It's connecting Pittsfield to Killington. So these are the 3 sections that are going to get built. The red dots are going to be put out for RFPs this year, requests for proposals. So maybe within a year, we'll be able to ride all the way from Rochester all the way to the Sherburne Trails. Think about that. Better have an e-bike. Oh, I think we missed one. So that's over on the eastern part. On the western side, so you can see new route or business route 4 or Route 4 highway, and there's a landowner up at the top of Clark Hill in West Rutland that they want to put their land into conservation, and this is going to be the 5 Birches Trail. Hardy Avery is actually doing some scouting now to figure out what the trails could support, and that'll be probably most likely be the connector from Rutland over to the Slate Valley trails. Exactly how that's going to happen, that's all still in the works, not for, we're still working with a lot of private landowners. So in the southern part of the state, everybody's probably heard about the 72 or 73 miles of Belmont Trail that's going to be built in the southern part of the state. So this summer is going to be from Windhall to Stratton. And this is Dorset, where the Raptor trails are, and this is going all the way down south. So this section here is what's going to be constructed this summer. So yeah, a lot of stuff happening. And a lot of the funding for stuff in the Green Mountain National Forest is congressional district funding. So the money's there. Vermont Huts has the money for that. Private landowners is going to have to come from private funds. So felt like we're missing one. Are we missing one? Oh, maybe not. Okay. All right, go ahead, flip. All right, Courtney, you're up.
Okay,
Your turn with the mic.
great. Okay.
Well, maybe I should have introduced her. This is Courtney from Slate Valley Trail. She's, what's your title? Program
Director.
Director.
Well, executive director, actually, but yes, promotion this year, which is very exciting. Hi, everybody. Courtney Bankin, and I know many faces in here. SVT is so excited to be here. Shelley reached out. I think Steve Latender's come for the past few years, who was on our board. I was able to come this year, so I'm happy to be here. We see Pine Hill as our sister, really. I mean, you guys are a stone throw away. We send folks over to you all the time, and we hope that you send your folks to us too. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some projects for 2026, but before we get into that, excitingly, SVT just developed its new strategic plan for the next 3 years. We also reimagined our mission statement. So out of this strategic planning, it actually took a year to even plan. We interviewed tons of stakeholders. You may have seen that survey that came out. But from that data, from our community, we made the board analyzed what the community really wanted to see and where they wanted us to go. And so from our big retreat where we got together for 6 hours and hashed it all out, we came up with 4 pillars. So the first pillar is world-class trails. The second pillar is healthy community. The third, strong organization. The fourth, vibrant local economy. So all 4 of these pillars sort of, you can see, sort of hold up our new reimagined mission statement. So our mission is to build and maintain lasting trails in the Slate Valley region of southwestern Vermont that connect people to nature, foster healthy communities, and contribute to a vibrant outdoor recreation economy. Lots of words. You can go back. I'll share just a few things. Out of world-class trails, really, we're not going to change what we're doing. We're just kind of enhancing what we've already been doing. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary. So we want to just continue to build and steward really exceptional trails. And many of you know we do have a professional maintenance crew that is able to go out and spend many hours each summer on our trails, and that's huge for us. As far as healthy communities, we are going to continue to offer, programming for our local youth, for multi-diverse groups of people. We really don't just want the shreddy mountain bikers to come out on our trails, and I know you guys are very similar, and you have a huge, like you said, pedestrian life, boots on the ground group of folks that go out. Strong organization. That's just really, of course, like making sure our board and our systems and our staff are on that right path. So lots of board development, staffing and systems plans in the works, hopefully more staff. We're hoping to bring on in 2027 another full-time person to be in the office with me and make stuff happen, which is great. And then vibrant local economy really is just partnering with our town and making Poultney and making this area a destination for that people want to come and spend time. So for 2026 goals, sort of based off of those plans, we do have a progression park plan in the works out of Fairgrounds. We sort of realized SVT has a lot of really amazing blue cross-country trails, and that's great, but not everybody wants to pedal, up for miles and miles. So something out of Fairgrounds where, and very kid-friendly too, so parents could sit in the parking lot, watch their kids just do laps. We're in the permitting phase of that right now, so we're hoping to break ground, but this by the end of probably fall-ish, but we don't know how Act 250 permitting is going to go, so we'll see. We also have some town-to-trails connections happening so that one could park in downtown Poultney and get to the trail system. We have a couple really key connections that are about to be complete that would connect you from Route 30 to Thrall Road, which from Thrall Road, there's a way to access the bigger trail system. We got an AmeriCorps grant this year, so we have a member from AmeriCorps who is going to be our youth program coordinator. So that's huge for us. We just need somebody to come in and be able to help us really build this program. So we have 4 weeks of Kids Mountain Bike Camp right now, a Trailblazers program where we have teens go out and work on the trails, and it's a paid summer opportunity. We're going to have weekly family rides. That's also very youth-centered. And we really want to get involved with Vermont Youth Cycling. So I'll probably be in contact with you folks here we've realized there's a need for a cycling team. And Vermont Youth Cycling is a really amazing program. I don't know if anybody's looked into it, but it's not really, they're racing, but it's not really about the racing culture. It's really very inclusive and just getting kids, that don't play team sports, giving them that other opportunity. So Shelly, I'm hoping to pull maybe some Pine Hill kids to join that team too, and we can come up with a name of what we want our team to be. I don't know yet. Upgrades and enhancements throughout the entire system. We've got a big project scope this year. We do have 16 hours staffed for professional maintenance. And then we have some signage projects that we need to complete. And then we're really trying to come up with a documented vision for the trail system. So where do we actually want to go? We have 60 miles of trail right now, but the Trails Committee with our trails manager really needs to figure out, what is that next phase? So then when landowners come to us, is that something we want to embrace or not? So those are the big nuggets. Happy to answer any questions too if there's time. We can wait till the end maybe. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Ben?
Good, how are you? You have to clip this on and you have to clip this to your jacket. Sure. And then just put that in a pocket or hang on to it.
Cool.
Thanks. All right, we have Ben from Killington Mountain Bike Club.
All right. How's it going, everybody? So my name is Ben Colonna with Killington Mountain Bike Club. And I got just a couple things here for us to talk about. Essentially, we've been working on our website for the last 2 years or so. It's fairly updated now. We push really a lot of our updates and things like that through that website because we can update it, pretty quickly. We also use Trailforks. It's a great asset. It still has some issues that we are trying to struggle. I'm sure we all do in terms of how to properly communicate trail closures and things like that nature. So continue on for me. Sponsorship and events, that's something that we've been working on for way too long, but we got it finally completed last year. And it was a kiosk we put at Base Camp. So Base Camp / Welcome Center has a lot of parking, which helps with getting people onto the trail and back off the trail. We have bathrooms and amenities that help with that. We also have the parking at Sherburne Trails parking lot and a very small parking area at the state park. So the parking, we were trying to kind of create a kiosk location there to kind of push people to park from there. And that now we have advertisements helping us with our fundraising events, our goals. The bike bum race, one more thing. The bike bum race, which we've been doing for 10 years. You can go back one slide, sorry. Now 11 years, because now it's our 11th year, which is great, super exciting. We this is by far our most successful fundraiser. Every time I come here, I talk about it, so I'm not going to bore you with it. But either way, it's always been 10 weeks. We're shortening it to 8 weeks this year. We basically found the school seasons or year schedule interferes in the beginning and the end. So we lose a lot of racer participants for 2 weeks anyways. So this will keep that more concise. It does help us out as a volunteer organization in terms of work. And I think we're going to be a better product because of that. So we can go forward with that. We haven't really announced that to the public yet, but it will be coming out sooner than later. For 2025, what we did is trail improvements is what we focused on. So out of base camp TBR, which stands for Thundering Brook Road, because it goes to Thundering Brook Road, we added another option, more of a flow option with a drop, a couple of jumps, built by KSA Built over here at Rosenbaum. So thank you so much for that, Jay. People are loving that. And it just gives a little more flavor to come out of the parking lot instead of just one option. We basically have two options now. And we also, I'll just come over and point, there were a couple homes that went in here from the original owner of Mike Miller and Diane. They sold this property off. We did have a trail going right through here and back up. Now we've dropped it low and created another climbing, like an uphill travel back to the parking lot. So it's a little cleaner. One of our focuses for this year is signage, to improve the signage. It definitely needs some work, so that's something we're going to be working on. We did tons of bridging. Betty Loop and Hutchings Loop, this is all natural technical terrain. So therefore it's more, Rocky Rudy, a little bit more raw. There's definitely, you're gonna get wet back there even when it's dry. So we tackled some of those, just things you hate going through. You're like, oh my God, can we just put a bridge over this damn thing? So we did that. Once again, Rosie did that. We had a ton of lumber donated from Goodrow. We also bought a bunch of lumber too. And he lugged that in all pretty much by hand. How many boards was that?
$1,000 worth of boards plus all the free stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of huffing by Mr. Rosie there. What else here? If anybody's not familiar, we have our signature trail, Sureburner and Pesky Karen, I would say, out of the state park. There's been some challenges with trying to get people safely across the street from one side of the Route 100 to the other, specifically down here, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about in a second. And that is, we're continuing working with them, trying to brainstorm better ideas than what we're currently working with. But either way, we'll probably give some more information about that once we figure out what it's actually going to be. But for right now, we're still kind of doing the same thing. If you're a KMBC member, you do not have to pay to access that 300-foot section of trail to get into the National Forest. If you're not, technically it's a $5 fee. Honestly, it's been going pretty well. They really don't shake you down. It's a donation at the end of the day to the state park, not Kennelton Mountain Bike Club. But either way, it is what it is, and we're working the best we can. And that brings me to the next slide, which has been 3 years in the making, which is also to tackle that same thing I was just talking about, which is a bridge over this river here into this parking area from Lower Pesky Karen. If anybody rides there, there's already a trail there. It's goes across the street in a pretty blind corner, and people drive pretty fast in that location, and it's just a matter of time. Someone's gonna get smoked. So we're really trying to, address that issue. The problem is, it's a very big bridge, and it needs to, for whatever reason, hold a mini excavator or something. So this is an expensive bridge. We literally just got the document on Monday, so it's not in the slide, otherwise I'd put it in there. It's going out for bid here shortly if it isn't already, and it's gonna be pretty expensive, but we can't go for the funding until we know what the number is. So back in, I think 2019 or 20, when this was originally quoted, it was a $100,000 bridge. It's probably triple that now. So unfortunately, that's a problem, but there is money out there for that, and we're pretty confident we can get that money for. It ties into a lot of projects in terms of road safety and trails and Forest Service stuff, so there's a lot of access out there. So for that, the other aspect is the Velomont project that Shelley was just talking about. We, as our network's concerned, is probably maxed out on mileage that we're gonna build at this moment. So once again, we're still in maintenance mode, but we're gonna get a lot of, not free trail, because whatever, but new trail, because the Velomont can just go right through here. I believe it kind of connects, Shelley can correct me of course, but somewhere in this zone along this topo line all the way up to and behind Green Mountain up and golf course and up. So that's gonna be really exciting. We will be in charge of maintaining that section of trail as a club, and that's kind of what we'll be looking at doing in terms of extra maintenance aspects. So I think that might be it. Yep, I think that's it. All right, any questions? I'll be here. Thanks so much.
Shelley, did you want to talk more about was that the Velomont slide you were missing?
No, I had to find the clip. Okay. Yeah. So, why this is not with the other Velomont slides, I'm not sure, and I'm the one that sort of put the slideshow together. Does anybody have questions about the Velomont? So, there's funding available. You can go to the website. As you can see, we're really starting to concentrate in this area around here. Angus we've been trying to meet with a landowner off of Boardman Hill, and that has snowstorms, ice storms have kind of postponed that till May. And the other good news is that I didn't mention is up the South Pond Hut has been approved by the Forest Service. And I believe that that's going to get brought up piece by piece or something. And its construction might start maybe later this summer, but next year. So anyway, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, that was your slide, Ben. No wonder I couldn't figure out. Yeah, just I'm like, why is it? Yeah. So those were all Ben's bikes in the Valley of the Ferns there. So down trees, people have been great. Bruce Waterworth is not new to, well, he's sort of new to Rutland 7 or 8 years ago, but he's been in helping us cut. CP helps us. Nate and I have been building that sign. But I think some of our other chainsaw volunteers are not here that I'd really like to give a shout out to. So when I say we, it's Nate and myself, maybe Leonard, maybe CP. It's not just falling all on us. So this kid's going to graduate from high school this year, just in case you want to know. All right, how about a discussion tonight? Normally, everybody just sort of packs up and books out of here. People have questions. You want to know about stuff.
Where did all the trees come from for the fencing?
Oh, the natural fencing? So is that pretty cool?
That was a lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. So we harvested a lot of saplings with GE from the forest, and then Nate and I made 2 trips up to actually a willow farm that grows these rods specifically for natural fences, arches, and we ended up making 2 trips up there. And thanks to Tyler, we got to borrow one of their trailers. And one trailer, I think, had 500 willow rods on it, and the other one had like 350. And we're going to do another segment. If you go in the park in the wintertime, you know we have trails that we close. An exit strategy is one of them, and we have to run the orange snow fencing quite a ways down the pond road so people don't go around it. So we want to do like a 40-foot section of natural fencing there so we don't have to keep stringing up orange snow fencing every year. So we'll set those fence posts. Community work day, those will get set, and then we'll get some willow rods. They already know. They told us probably be later in May before we can go up and pick them up. So, yeah, so the natural fences, yeah, it's pretty cool. Seth?
I'm seeing more and more out-of-state plates in the parking lot, and I'm sure you're considering this. What's the calculus of requesting well, you do request donations, but requiring passes or maybe getting tax dollars because Pine Hill Park is bringing all this money into the city?
I invited all the Rutland City aldermen tonight, just as an FYI. I didn't.
We did an economic study before COVID and determined that Pine Hill Park brings $1.3 million to the community. And that was back in 2018. And we've seen, I don't know if you'd say exponential, but the traffic in Pine Hill Park has certainly quadrupled by then. So it is not insignificant, the amount of money that Pine Hill Park brings to this region economically.
So I did do a little partial economic survey last year. I got about 25 forms. And Nick Bennett, who's the executive director of VIMBA, his wife actually was able to take my forms that I didn't have time to do anything with and put them into some numbers. And I haven't done anything with those numbers. But a lot of those people, so most of you folks are local. You see somebody out there, engage them in a conversation. You let them know that it's all volunteers that are doing this work. Tell them to leave a donation in Tin Man, because a lot of people don't realize that we do not get city tax dollars, even though it's a Rutland City Park. The rec department supports us hugely, all right? We need something moved. We moved a pile of gravel, I think, 3 times up in the woods, thanks to the bucket loader, because we used it and we still had stuff left and we could use it in another spot. We didn't want to move it by hand. So we get support in that respect. But from the financial and the way people come to town and spend money, yeah. So anyway, I'll stop there. Somebody else had their hand up, Nina.
So just on that, following up on that train of thought, you know how you can, what's the scan, like the bar scan on your phone where you can take a photo of your big QR code. Is it possible to have a sign in the parking lot or at the entrance or where the map is? People could
You look at the kiosk and look at all our look.
Welcome to Rutland if you like the trails and want to contribute, something like that to make it easy for people to Venmo.
You ever look at the locator maps at the intersections?
So they have all of it.
They have QR codes on them. Yeah, so that stuff's out there. Yeah, that's out there. Dave made the QR codes, and the mistake we probably made and that we could update is if the donation came in, we could tell it came from the QR code. But most of the PayPal stuff comes in on that QR code is all membership dollars or a donation. So, Paige.
Mostly for myself, you mentioned some of these signs are could be as old as 20 years old. Is there any plans, do they ever go up for any kind of little auctions, or do they make their way hidden away somewhere? Is there any possibility of utilizing those trail signs in an interesting, fun way?
We actually power wash them and restain them.
Hell yeah. Even better.
Yeah, yeah. Well, otherwise it's more work. So it means us doing the artwork means Nate, not us. Nate doing the artwork, and then us being, we go down to down to the Mint and join for a month and make signs. So, but if we do any of the signs, actually, I think there's probably a couple that probably went into a trash pile. But yeah, we can keep that in mind. That's for sure. So, Barb.
I saw the picture you had of the GE folks. Looks like you got some nice young guys there. Are they mountain bike riders as well?
Who's that now? Oh, the GE guys, yeah. So we had 2 groups of GE, and the second group, they all showed up with mountain bikes. So there is a pretty good contingent of mountain bikers from GE, which was pretty cool to see.
Good.
So, other questions, comments, ideas? Everybody wants Sunday night, everybody wants to leave.
On the Velomont, how far apart are the huts going to be, or supposed to be?
I can't answer that, Jay. If you go on the website, you can see where a lot of the huts are. And if you haven't been over to the Chittenden Brook hut that got built probably 4 years ago now, that's a really cool hut. And in the wintertime, you have to ski to it, but in the summertime, you can actually drive to it. And it's a really nice hut. And they built one down on Grout Pond last year. VYCC actually built that and completed it. And Jeff Alexander, you could probably talk to that because that's adaptive friendly, right?
It is. We worked with US Fire Service to have a couple great freedom chairs at that Grout Pond hut, so that when folks access that by their adaptive bike, they would be able to transfer to chair and then be able to move around in the hut. So we did that as well up at the Chittenden Brook Reservoir.
Yeah.
And we're working on that for the rest of the ones. The one in South Pond here is supposed to be accessible as well. So we're excited about that.
So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the mountain bike world. So yeah. Leonard.
Yeah, well, of course, we have the Community Work Day coming up on May 2nd from 9 to noon. That's, again, the 2nd of May from 9 to noon. It looks like it's
Is that the first Saturday of May?
It would be the first Saturday of May. It's a great question. Now, if somebody were to want to be a part of this, because like based on these pictures, it looks like it's a lot of fun to go into the woods and work on these trails. Would it be possible for them to send an email to Pine Hill Partnership via the email on the website and say, hey, I'm interested, when are you in the woods? And would that be something we'd be amenable to?
Oh, by all means. pinehillpartnership@gmail.com does definitely not get enough email. Okay? Or pinehillpark@gmail. So, yeah, that would be great. And we have a lot of different projects going on for Community Work Day, and it's not all just moving bark mulch for the master gardeners, but anyway.
And Shelley loves it when you email her and say, hey, I have a free afternoon. I'd love to go clean drainages. And she'll get you the proper tool to go clean the drainages. And you get a real sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, that's for all the people that aren't here and that are listening on PEG TV.
Yeah.
So anyway. But on some other really cool news, Tom Estel is here. He's our Wild Times in Pine Hill Park. He's the historian for all the birds and that nature, and the coltsfoot started to flower. And he saw 3 osprey today out on Muddy Pond, so that's pretty exciting. So, yeah. Anyway, what do we have left? Oh, sorry. What?
I just wanted to join the conversation a little bit.
Well,
So,
here.
Yeah,
Here.
thanks.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I don't have,
Hey, this is Sarah Pelkey. She works for Cedar.
yep.
And I've forgotten what your title is.
So I'm the new director for economic development at Chamber and Economic Development of Rutland, Cedar. So, yes, I can. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I don't have anything prepared, and this is the first time I've come to this meeting, and thank you for the invitation, Shelley. I just want to say hello to everyone and let you know that I am at Cedar now as the Director of Economic Development, and also to let you know you have 2 VOREC Steering Committee members in this room. Jeff, you probably know, is on the VOREC Steering Committee, and I am as well. So I'm the Economic Development appointee at large for the state, and I think it's really important to share that with you. I come from Poultney. I've been working in Poultney for 5 years, actually 6 years now. So I'm really familiar with the outdoor recreation economy that's been developing there, and the community that's been rallying around that. But I just want to make sure everyone knew that there's a lot of effort towards outdoor recreation economy being a lot of momentum in the county. So you saw the slide earlier with the number of miles for mountain biking and the other, there's all sorts of other outdoor recreation destinations in your county. But it's really starting to become an area of focus for the county in terms of economic development. So I just wanted to say hello and let everyone know that I'm now at Cedar. There's a lot of interest in furthering what is in Rutland County in terms of economic development. I've done a lot of grant writing. I have done a lot of, I was employed by the municipality, so I understand the perspective of your municipalities that have these outdoor recreation assets and what they're applying for grants and how they can support your goals for some of these assets. So I just want to say hello and congratulations, and I love Pine Hill Park. We were there several times, my family and I, over the past summer. New residents of West Rutland, and we moved down here from Madison County. So, yeah, super excited to be here. Yeah, thanks.
Oh, hang on a sec. So the thing with Sarah was I have been talking to a lot of different people in Rutland City about promoting what Peggy talked about was the Route 4 corridor mountain biking with going up to Rochester and over 300 miles of trail. And for some reason, I got on the Cedar website about a month ago, and Sarah's name popped up. And so I emailed her, and she goes, let's get together. So we had a great conversation 2 weeks ago. So I feel like maybe now this whole Route 4 corridor might start to get promoted. And going back to Nina's question about, and Seth's question about, getting people here to the area and showing what Rutland has to offer, that maybe they don't go back to New Jersey. Maybe they stay. Maybe they move to the area. Maybe not Rutland City, but maybe they move to the general area. So, all right, Sarah Graham wants the mic now.
I know it's Sunday. I'm going to be really, really short. maybe. Sarah Graham, one of the newer board members. I jumped on I was on SVT, and then we moved to Rutland, so sorry, I loved SVT, but greener, yeah. All right, anyway, fair weather friend. I jumped on a board meeting call one night, and then before I got off the board meeting, I was on the board. But I had ideas, and they listen to the ideas, and they want to roll with it, and they want to give you the freedom and the autonomy. Like, yes, we want that to happen. Make that happen. Help us make it happen. So if there's anybody out there that's interested or has ideas, or you don't have to join the board, but we'd love to. Shameless plug. On top of that, all of the ask for, come on out, volunteer your time to build trails. Maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you don't have the back for it or the knees for it, or it's not your thing, the manual labor. We have so many other volunteer opportunities as well. If you do like biking or you do like children, again, it's all volunteers. The Gritty Girls, we volunteer our time to go out and ride with these girls. The women's mountain bike nights, the youth teams. We need people. We need people on bikes. Even if you're not an amazing biker, we need these people called sweeps. I didn't know what that was when I first started. I was like, they want me to sweep? Like, what? Follow along behind. So you're going at a snail's pace and you are stopping every 5 feet with some of those beginners. It's not hard. We'd love anybody and anybody to volunteer. Also, want to try to get some trail sits. So again, if you want to just sit at a table on a beautiful Sunday afternoon and talk to people that are coming into the park and welcome them and give them a map and say, why are you here? That would be fabulous. So shameless plug. There's all sorts of opportunities. It's not just trail building. That's important. Shelley.
Okay. I guess I'm closing. Any other further questions? Okay, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for everything you do to make Pine Hill Park the gem. I think it's one of the brightest gems in Rutland City or in Rutland County. So thanks again for coming, and feel free to reach out to any of us on the board anytime if you have questions or ideas. And happy summer. I think it's going to be 70 degrees this week.